Hey, doctors of a personal injury doctors league community, Dr. Tony, your administrator, founder, and today we're just gonna have a great chat with one of our sponsors here, Kevin Sullivan. Let me just kind of go over a little bit about Kevin. He is the president CEO of KD Sullivan Wealth Strategies, locations in New York and Maine. He's a busy guy, too often. He's a book author, and the author is Managing Income and Retirement. And he might update us into maybe other books that are coming out. We don't know, but if you want a copy of that, he'll definitely tell you the link to get it. He's been doing some great things on our community. He's been tied in with LinkedIn, bringing in some great information and interviews with some doctors and some professional business people. We thank him for that. He's active and has clients in 14 and maybe more different states right now. He might update us on that, but I just wanted to say hi to him, bring him back onto our community, and he's going to just kind of update us on what he's been doing out there and to help all of our doctors here in the Personal Injury Doctors Elite community for their livelihood. Kevin, thanks for being with us and your time away from things you're doing. I know you are an hour older than me right now, being on Central Time, but I got you on 1 hour being younger, but I'm just going to turn it over to you. Go ahead.
Well, that's great. Thank you, Dr. Tony. It's such a pleasure to be working with this group and to just be able to share what we can with the doctors. You know, our main mission is to help doctors. Everything we do as far as eat, breathe, and sleep, we have doctors in mind, and that's really what we do. We really try to help our doctors manage their wealth, create their wealth, and all of that at the same time. Thank you for the warm introduction. I'm coming to you from our podcast set, which is something new that you probably haven't seen yet. So I thought I'd just join you today from our podcast set that we have. It's called Physician Wealth Meds. It's a wealth podcast for doctors. And we like to say it's wealth medicine for doctors. You know, sometimes doctors need the medicine too. If you think about what we can do and what we really strive to do to help doctors, especially in the personal injury space, is it's every intention and everything that the doctors in the personal injury space are doing to help their patients get well. We do the same thing. We try to eliminate the pain as fast as possible. We really try to look at financial pain because a lot of doctors have financial pain, and boy, there's nothing that hits you faster than that. And there's several different areas in which we do that, but that's basically what we try to do. We try to eliminate that, take it off their plate. We know doctors are busy. We know that their schedules are very demanding. And so we try to wrap ourselves around that to help them in every way possible financially.
That's great to hear, and that's great to hear you being busy and definitely working with a lot of doctors across the USA. What's the main thing that a lot of doctors are asking for, or what you've been bringing them to help them with the advice with their lives and in their practices these days?
Well, I think the main thing is doctors really are trying to find someone that they can know, like, and trust to give them sound financial advice. And one of the big things there is, what do you do with your cash flow? They're busy managing their practice, but then what can we do with the cash flow to set up something that's a little bit more sustainable outside the practice? And I wrote here some notes on my iPad. It's not just about growing their wealth. It's really about helping them design their financial future. And I like the way that even sounds. How would you like to design your financial future? What does that look like from you 5 years from now, 10 years from now? Do you want to just work another day to get extra income, or do you want to maybe start a path of designing your own financial health outside of the practice so that you can alleviate some things and have a little bit less stress? So we do that through the work that we do and our concierge services that we have for doctors. We work with them, find out where they're at, trying to find out what they like to do and what direction they'd like to go in, and then we implement those tools in a wealth management and wealth strategies way to manage that wealth with them. But all in all, we're having these conversations about how would you like to design your future. A second thing is taxes. Doctors really would like to reduce their tax burden. So there are numerous things that we can talk to doctors about to help them reduce their taxes. It's the quickest way to wealth. If you can reduce the money that you pay in taxes, that's more discretionary income for you to do something that you would like to do for yourself and your families.
Yeah, there's no doubt that, last 3 years have been pretty tough for a lot of doctors. A lot of them had to close their doors during the COVID of the 2020, 2021. And
Right.
a lot of them are now starting to ramp back up, getting patient flows again, and
Hmm.
doing a lot of different things they didn't do back before COVID, the
That's
COVID
right.
year. And a lot of them are now starting to bring in some extra cash flow, hopefully, from the personal injury cases being settled. And
Right.
you have some kind of accumulation type structured program that any of our doctors can get into to help them out, or are you just kind of can help them out with the extra? I know you can get with the extra cash flow.
Hmm.
Well, a lot of times these doctors spend too much money and they need a structured, disciplined, accumulation type plan. I don't know if you offer that or not, but this is something maybe to talk about while we're
Sure.
updating.
We help them understand discipline. I guess doctors, above all, understand what discipline is. Just to have the title MD after your name or DC after your name, is definitely some structure there. But what we try to do is say, if you would like to put money into like 401ks or profit sharing or IRAs or things of that nature, we can implement structure to that in the investments that would surround that, to be appropriate for each doctor. Obviously, we can't give like advice without knowing the personal nature of the specific situation. So we can talk in generalities, but we can give them implemented strategies to show them, if you do this, then here's how much you would save in taxes. And usually that starts to generate some excitement with a doctor to say, are you serious? If I could put this away for me and then do some for my employees and I can eliminate this much in taxes, that gets pretty exciting and it gets pretty contagious. But as far as like a set strategy that we have, we leave that open to the counsel that we have with the doctors, just conversations with them.
Yeah, in the past, and I teach this a lot of times, that was from a mentor of mine back in the 80s, is this the structured plan I have always put together and taught my kids is the 40-10-25-25 system. That don't
Yeah.
mean anything to you, but just a percentage numbers. But it's basically a piece of paper, a simple piece of paper that has 40-10-25-25. And when you get a deposit, just to give you an example, when when you get a deposit, you just fill in the fourth grade math. 40% goes to expenses, 10% goes to, we call it a money magnet. It's basically a put away so and don't see it type thing. 25% goes to retirement, and 25% goes to personal expenses. And I still today fill that out. And these things,
Yes.
all this technology and all this things that people do, a simple envelope system or a simple thing like that makes a world of a difference because you make it into a habit. You make it into a habit
Right.
every day. And that's the thing that pulls you forward in the financial era. And as simple as that can be, that helps out. And then when you get that extra big cash in your accumulation, that's when you would
Hmm.
talk to Kevin and put it maybe in more vehicles, like he was mentioning on tax strategies and investment strategies.
Yes. And knowing where you stand is huge. I can't imagine anybody nowadays that would not know where they stand financially. Will your money last? Are you saving enough? What's the gap look like? What am I on pace for versus what I'd really like to have? If you're thinking about retirement, those type of things. And with all the tools and resources nowadays, I can't imagine someone going on it by themselves. You had mentioned also it's been a tough 3 years in the market with what's going on, and I just can't imagine anybody trying to figure it out themselves because doctors, above all, have enough on their plate, let alone trying to sit and try to figure out their investment portfolios and allocations and what kind of risks they want to take and are they on track. So this is where we can do a lot of that heavy lifting and give them time back into their schedule.
No doubt, we as doctors have enough on our plate, but also we look to you, the professional that has to keep up with all the codes and all the different things that come down the pipe. I think sometimes that's even more tedious than what we have to do 48 hours of education every year. But I know we appreciate
Yeah.
everything that you all have done. So Kevin's been with us almost a year here, coming up to, not all a year. Yeah, he's going to stay with us as to support us. You'll see him on the community. I want you to just kind of go over how you put together that physicians broadcast and if you got any programs coming up for the doctors to tap into.
Sure. Well, it was a passion of mine just to deliver sound financial content for doctors. And we know they're busy. So the podcast thought I've been wanting to do that for about 5 years, but we just implemented it coming through in November all the way through to now. But we just wanted to make sure that they had some things that they could listen to on their own time. So we have the audio versions of it. We have the video versions out on YouTube. I'll just share my screen so you can kind of see a few things here. This is on Spotify. You know, if you want to go out on Spotify, you can see Physician Wealth Meds. We have several different topics that we've done. This one here is protecting your practice at any age with attorney Paul Dillon. We put at any age because you have something to protect. If you're in a practice, you have something valuable to protect, and it doesn't matter what age you are. So with attorney Paul Dillon, he really gives a good interview there. We had Dr. Ken Curbs, who's a chiropractor here in my hometown, talk about his journey over the last 40 plus years, you know, so that's a good one. And what we try to do is let you hear from your peers on various topics or other financial professionals so that we can give you things that you might not think of on your own. But if you're driving home, you want to have some free time, you can listen to these. Here's another one with Aligned and Thriving and how the marketing strategies of Dr. Mike DeCubulis ignite practice growth. He's a DC doctor in the personal injury space too, out of Illinois that we talked to. One of the other ones is Key Mortgage Lending Points for Physicians, and this is with Steve Furdock from Rocket Mortgage. Gives great insights for doctors. We just did one this past Tuesday with Dr. Burns that's going to be released here shortly. He's a good friend of Robert Kiyosaki from the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And Dr. Burns is the richdoctor.com. You can find him out there. It was a great pleasure to have him on our podcast just the other day. So that'll be released shortly. Talk about real estate investing and how you can take cash and turn it into cash flow and how addicting that can be when your cash flow starts to pay your utility bill. And as you grow your portfolio, now it's taking care of your income taxes, you know, and it takes that pressure off you as a doctor to say, man, I got to work an extra day to make $1,000. This way you've got some passive income coming in, and that can also help reduce taxes. We've got another one lined up about business succession to make sure that you understand the value of your practice. So the closer you get to retirement, or just at least knowing, maybe you're 10 years away, but at least you know what your practice is valued at now. And you can line up successors. So we have that one that's going to be released here shortly. So we really try to get in the nuts and bolts of things that matter to physicians and doctors. And that's why we did this particular podcast. And I know that 1 out of every 4 doctors are age 65, and there's a 50 to 60% burnout rate. So you put those two things together, a doctor who's close to 65 who's burnt out, that's just not a good combination, you know? So something that we can do to help alleviate that pain is to just give them good, sound financial advice and content that they can use to really make a difference. And again, design their financial future at any stage.
No doubt. Those are all great podcasts with great information. In fact, just to mention Dr. Mike DeCubulis, he is a member of our PA Doctors Elite community. So there's an interview right there with Dr. Mike.
Yeah.
Kevin there.
I saw him posting on LinkedIn several times a day, and I said, man, I got to meet this guy. I mean, he's just all over with his marketing. And I said, I just want to know what you're doing from a marketing perspective and how that's helping your practice grow. And I had a wonderful chat with him. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. It was a great presentation. So I don't know if you're looking for interviews, maybe some of the doctors might have an interest. Maybe they can contact you. Of course, you would interview
Oh,
them,
absolutely.
what the subject matter would be to fill your list up with maybe some personal injury stuff or some other things that
Sure.
doctors are doing financially or what have you. So just contact Kevin. So.
Because
All
each
right,
doctor
so
has something to share, and if they have something to share that's unique to their practice that could help another doctor, that's what it's all about too. I'll just share my screen one more time. These podcasts also live out on my website. So this is my website here. So on the home page, when you scroll down, you can see, well, quite a bit of information, but you can also see, here's the video versions of some of the podcasts. There's Dr. Mike. We also have on the podcast tab, you got the same thing that you just saw, but it's also on our website, you know, so you can kind of access them there. And that's kdsullivan wealthstrategies.com.
All right, we'll get that. We'll have that posted there. And so as you go along here, you'll be adding much more information with those podcasts, and that's great for the doctors to grab onto.
Sure.
Kevin's also, I see him always on LinkedIn too. So if you're a LinkedIn member, and if you're not, you should be on LinkedIn. That's where actually we met a while back. And he's got some great information he shares there, and he brings it on to our doctors PI community, and we appreciate him for that. So, all right, you got any more to add?
Just one more thing. You had mentioned that I am an author. I don't think I've ever shown you the book. So this is 140 pages, 147 pages, planning, managing income and retirement. This is the hardcover book. And we also have it in like the workbook edition. So it's a full colored, full size. So where you had probably never seen it, I don't think I've ever shown it on one of these. I just kind of point to it. But it's really designed to help you. The chapters in there will help you so much. Even though it was written a few years back, there's a chapter on emotional investing and what do you do when emotions get in the way. And it talks about perspective that way. Also talks to you about how you can manage your income. Where do you pull it from first, second, or third once you do decide you want to start withdrawing the income? And it'll help you get some structure around what you're looking to do. So just a brief thing about that.
Don't forget that section on when you win the lottery, make sure you go to this section. that happens sometimes. You watch some of these YouTube channels I watch, people they don't know what to do.
Yes, sir.
It goes the opposite way. But thanks, Kevin. Yeah, maybe you can post that link to get that book. Looks like the whole nice little educational series or seminar there that they can go over with you, and that would be great. So, all right, we got Kevin Sullivan, one of our sponsors and the main supporters. He is with us today live, and we'll have him help with a lot of our doctors in our PI Doctors Elite community throughout the year until 2024. Kevin, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
And
yes,
anything else you can add, just post it on the doctors community, and we'll make sure our doctors can get that information and advice. So I appreciate you. Always.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Dr. Tony.
do what you're doing, your life, your dreams, and the podcast looks like has come around finally, and those are fun because I love doing them myself. So,
well, we'll have to have you on.
We'll do that. Yeah.
An open invitation.
All right, doctors, thank you for joining us today, and we'll make sure we get more information, more great things for our personal injury community and our doctors elites. Thanks so much, Kevin. Again,
thank you.
Say hi to everybody up there east, and we'll see you down the line on the PI Doctors Elite community.
Okay, thank you so much. Have a great day.
You bet. Dr. Tony, your administrator and founder, thanks for joining us today, and stay tuned for more great things.